You want me to let him in?
Yes, you can let him in. I'm trying to
Okay,
set up this page here.
go
Yeah.
ahead. Okay.
Okay. All right. Boom. All right. Perfect.
Okay.
Right. All right. Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the February 2025 Education Roundtable. I'm Anthony Tillman, and I am honored to have a very special guest, Dr. Tamara Johnson. Ooh. Okay. Can you hear me? Let's try it again. Gotta love these technical difficulties. Okay, so once again, Dr. Tamara Johnson, we appreciate you for being here. I'm going to just record this video just because the YouTube is kind of acting up here. So I want to just kind of make sure we have a backup so we can post it on the Education Roundtable group for people who can see it later. We don't want them to miss your important information that you want to give them. We want all of our scholars to get that those information. All right. Good evening, everybody. Anthony Tillman, Education Roundtable, February 2025. So here with Dr. Tamara Johnson. Um, I'm going to also let her introduce herself because she has a amazing, impactful resume, and I like to let people just introduce themselves because who better to talk about you than yourself. So, but we are honored to have her here today. One of the biggest things that I saw about her before we invited her was that one, I'm a PTSA president of a high school, and she was also a PTA president of Oxon Hill. So I think we have to look out for each other, and I think the most important part about our job as PTA presidents is that the information that we give out to the students, and I think the network. A lot of people, especially when they get into high school around their senior year, they're not really privy to the information that's available to them. And I think it's hard when you have, maybe one or two school counselors that have to handle a whole school. And one of the biggest, things that I saw that is needed is the information to be easier for them to access, to make sure that they're getting that one-on-one attention. And I think our students don't really utilize that information as needed. So one of the biggest things that I love about Dr. Tamara Johnson is that she, as a parent, took advantage of that learning opportunity to research and make sure that her children benefited from Prince George's County Public Schools, and now they're doing amazing things. So she's a testament that our kids in Prince George's County Public Schools can move further by just doing that research themselves and really having that advocacy for them to understand that potential to move them on to be, accepted to any college or trade they choose. And I think that's one of the things that I found amazing about your story is that you did the research and now you're teaching others to be a part of that history for themselves. So thank you so much for being here. Please, tell us who you are and you have the floor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. You can hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Such an honor. Yes, I am Dr. Tamara Johnson. I'm a wife, a mom, entrepreneur, community advocate, author, healthcare provider, and more. But one of my greatest joys is definitely being a mom of two sons, and I am a proud, proud parent of Prince George's County students who have graduated and are doing well in college at this time. I am a former PTSA president of not only just Oxon Hill High School, but I was also the PTSA president in was it middle school or elementary at Maya Angelou French Immersion. My boys started out in that program and then they went into the science and tech program at Oxon Hill High School. So it is very important that we continue to advocate as parents. So I wanted to definitely just thank you again for having me. 2022 and 2023 were some very hard years. My boys graduated, and they went in high school during COVID, and they graduated as right after COVID when some of the restrictions were lifted. My boys were super great student athletes, but school shut down for almost 2 years, and that just had a negative impact on their recruiting opportunities. But thank God, we always stress that you are a student first. And because of that, many doors were open. It was cute in the beginning having two kids back to back, but when you start looking at graduation and college, you're like, how do I handle having two kids in college at the same time? So, as you said, counselors are busy, administrators are busy, teachers are busy. So, if you're not going to step in and help your children, you're going to find yourself with the short end of the stick because there's not a lot of help within the schools right now for kids who do want to go on to college and not have to pay a lot of money. So, I always like to give a shout out to Miss Patricia Duffy. She's one of the administrators at Oxon Hill High School, and she told me, she said, Dr. Johnson, there's a lot of money that's left on the table every year. And I said, really? She said, yeah, we get scholarships all the time, but people just don't want to apply. So I said, okay, we're going to accept the challenge and we're going to apply. So before I get started, people always want to know about the money part. And so both of my boys are they're a sophomore and junior now in college, and they both attend Norfolk State University. They won money from universities, which is called merit awards, but they also won a lot of money from private and local scholarships. Together, they each won over $1 million. I'm sorry, each. They each won over $1 million when you're looking at the money from the universities as well as private and local scholarships. So that's how I was able to help them, and then they are now attending college debt free. So we've talked about the money. So I'm just gonna pull up my presentation for you this evening. I know we have an hour, so I will make sure I stay on point here. So I've created 10 tips, 10 tips to set you up. Now, I definitely like to talk to families. My goal is to try to catch the kids in middle school, eighth grade, before they go to high school, so that they know they have no room to mess up. It is hard to play catch up. So definitely want to go back now and talk to a lot of kids. Before they get to high school. And then while they're in high school, I can talk to them and definitely before senior year. So I've created this presentation just to kind of help you. And remember, this is my family's journey. My husband and I worked hard together with our boys along this journey. This is my journey. It's my lessons learned. It's what worked, what didn't work. And so I'm sharing it with you. You take what works for your family, and if it doesn't work, then, let's leave it there. But let's get started. Let's get started. So first up, sure I get slides here. Yep, that's me. And what I'm most excited about is when people started asking me, how did you do it? How did you do it? I was motivated by my husband and Miss Duffy from Oxon Hill High School to put something together. So I did put together an Amazon ebook where it has a lot of the tips, a lot of things that I learned along the way. And what's special about the ebook, starting August of your senior year all the way to May, I have created a timeline that you can use as you help your scholar navigate their senior year. All right, so tip number one, you have to start with the end in mind. The time is now. Whether you're in the eighth grade, ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade, the time is now. You all will have to work together as a family and a community to get the work done. We know that everybody's busy. We know you're busy, especially your senior year. You're very busy trying to graduate. You got prom, you got so many things going on, but the time is now. You have to have some conversations with your scholar and ask them, where do you see yourself your senior year? Do you want to go to college? Do you want to go into the military? Do you want to become an entrepreneur? Or do you want to go to some type of trade school? So, whatever that answer is, you need to start preparing. And what I like to tell people is that, your child may not see certain things in them, so pay attention to them. Kind of pay attention to their strengths, their weaknesses, what courses they're good in, what some of their their personality, their habits and things like that, so you can better help them. Okay. Next. All right, so there are four types of scholarships. It's university merit. That's from the university. It could be a presidential scholarship. Some of them call that full rides, etc. Second type is private and local scholarships. Third type is a student athlete, and the fourth type are departmental scholarships. And we'll talk about that a little later. Four metrics that colleges are looking for that we found. Most of them are looking for, and this is to win scholarships. Now, not saying that if you don't meet these metrics, you won't be able to go to college. But again, this presentation is about winning scholarships and moving towards a debt-free journey. So some metrics, 3.5 to 4.0. GPAs, definitely it can be under that, of course, over that. Um, SAT, 1150 to 1300. It can be below or above, depending on what type of college you're looking at. At ACT, 25 to 30 plus. And know that STEM majors are hot right now: science, technology, engineering, and math. They're hot right now. Not saying that you can't major outside of STEM, you can, but these are just the metrics that we found when the colleges were handing out the scholarships. Okay, tip number two, as I said, I'm trying to go back now and work more with middle school students to prepare them to go into high school. So it's a great time, to really start thinking about what you want to do. I'm one of the few people that I know that knew at the age of 14 that I wanted to be a physical therapist, and I am one today, and I've been one for 26 years. So it's never too early to start thinking about your future. Again, college, trade school, military, entrepreneurship, they're all going to require some type of education and learning and maybe some type of financial obligation. So we really need to start with the end in mind, think about what you want to do past the 12th grade. Next up, tip number three. I tell people all the time, 24 hours, Prince George's County, you only need 24 hours to graduate. That's nothing. So always try to make sure you have more than 24 hours. In my opinion, and based on our journey, 200 hours minimum should be the goal. So that's 50 hours each year: ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. And you actually can start the summer after your eighth grade. There is money for community service, but make sure that you keep track of the community service and turn in those verification forms. I've met so many kids that say, Dr. Johnson, I've done a lot of community service, but I haven't turned it in. I said, well, if you haven't turned it in, then you don't have proof that you've done it, because you turn it into your counselor and it is on your transcript. So that shows proof that you've completed it. And another thing that community service does, it teaches your kids about empathy and just having compassion and helping those that are in need and taking care of their community. If we don't take care of our community, no one else will. So community service is a big part of attracting money your way when you're looking for scholarships. Tip number four, you're going to need letters of recommendation from at least 2 to 3 people, which I honestly think is a lot. It's very hard to get letters of recommendation. So the sooner you start, The earlier you start, the better. A lot of scholarships are going to ask you, a lot of college applications are going to ask you for letters of recommendation. So the best way to get them is get involved. People have to know who you are to be able to write about you. So get involved now. Your church, your school, SGA, community organizations, PTA, PTO, get involved so they'll know who you are and they will be able to write a recommendation, a strong recommendation letter about you. Okay. All right. This one is, I get funny reactions when I put that your middle school child should have a resume. And it should be one page only because you want to start in middle school because most of you guys in the eighth grade, you are looking at where you want to go to high school, whether it's public or private. But again, you want to start keeping track of activities. You want to keep track again of community service. You want to, start preparing your child to become a leader. So having them in different types of leadership development programs and just a one pager. It doesn't have to be longer than a one page, but just one page, name at the top, education, school, you can put if there have been any awards, if you like to, National Honor Society or, honor roll, etc. And then you just go down the list. Only one page. One page is perfect for middle school. And you keep that resume and you build upon it as you go into high school. Okay. So, number six. This is something that is very hard sometimes for scholars to think about something that's special or unique about you. Have you had to overcome a challenge? When my sons were in high school, the challenge was COVID. No one had ever seen it before, didn't know how it was going to affect us. And they had to overcome that. They had to come home, be stop their sports, be separated from their friends, had to adjust to being able to become a virtual learner. And so that was what they could write about. But they also had some uniqueness about them. First of all, they attended the science and tech program, but before that, they attended a French immersion program. So they could write about the experience of speaking a foreign language starting in kindergarten until eighth grade and then traveling abroad. So you have to think about what's special, unique about your scholar and help them to identify it, whether they speak a foreign language, play an instrument, whether they're in the drama club or they're into theater, or if they have a business. A lot of young people have businesses now. You have to think about those things because eventually you're going to have to write about it. And so this is the part that kind of slows people down from applying to scholarships, those essays. But they don't have to become a burden. You can have 2 to 3 essays, maybe a couple of paragraphs already prepared, and then you just recycle them, use them over and over again. Just make sure that you copy and paste, answer the question, and some common ones are a personal statement. Tell them about yourself. Have that already written, 2 paragraphs to be used at a later date. The next one is, what are your career goals? Tell them about what you want to do. What do you want to become? And know about that. Research your career. Put some stats in there about how many men are in this field, how many women are in this field. Is there a diversity gap, etc. Put that to the side. The third one may be the special, unique about you, overcoming a challenge. Think about that. And how you had to, overcome that to continue to be successful. That's another. And then sometimes they'll give you a question to answer on your own. So now is the time to go ahead and do those 2 to 3 essays, put them to the side, and just be able to use them at a later date because they can be recycled. And parents, it's okay to help your kids with their essays. You're going to have to proofread it. You're going to have to help them, spice it up a little bit. And you're going to have to make sure they follow the rubric because I sit on some scholarship committees. And if you don't follow the rubric, if they ask you to write a 500-word essay and you write a 502-word essay, it will be disqualified. So pay attention to the rubric. If it says double space, you double space. If it says characters, that's different from words. That's including punctuation, spaces, etc. So follow the rubric. And a lesson learned for me, when you become a senior and you're applying to college and different scholarships, you may be asked to give an elevator pitch. My youngest was asked to give an elevator pitch to win a scholarship, and initially I was like, "Wow, why are they asking them that?" Because this 17-year-old knows nothing about an elevator pitch, but because I always encourage them to participate in oratoricals and the school play and the church plays and programs. They were becoming more and more comfortable speaking in front of people. Also, I made them one year join the debate team, even though they didn't like it, but it helped prepare them for the future. So you may be asked to give an elevator pitch. So practice with your kids and teach them how to talk to adults, giving them eye contact and making sure they are comfortable speaking about themselves. So practice that. Okay. Next, I know you've heard the term test optional that came out a lot during COVID. And what that means is that you can still get admitted to college without taking the SAT and ACT. However, I recommend that you take it because there are now some fine print in some areas that says if you choose test optional, then you are removing yourself from winning any merit awards from the universities. So you have to make sure you read the fine lines and understand that if you want to be admitted test optional, that means that they won't consider you for any scholarships. So you have to be careful with that. So I do recommend taking the SAT and the ACT, but I recommend that you do it before your junior year. And the reason why is because my youngest son and I attended a boot camp in another area. And I went to see how they were preparing their kids for these tests. He was in the ninth grade. And what I'm learning is that some people are taking the SAT earlier to build the brain endurance, to understand the questioning, and to be able to become more confident. But before you take it, you have to prep for it. So this day and time, a lot of our kids are taking algebra in the eighth grade. They have the high school credit before they come to high school. So by the time they reach their senior year, they have forgotten all about algebra. So before you take the test, you must review algebra. You must do some practice questions, or you can use Khan Academy. It takes you through a whole um, practice for the test that's free of charge. And so we have to prepare better for it. And we cannot wait until our senior year to take it. So I say take the test, but prep first and review algebra. So the $20, that boot camp that I went to in Virginia, that changed our lives because my youngest was in the ninth grade, and I started working with them more on how to prepare for the test. And they took it earlier, so by the time they got to their senior year, they had the scores that we were looking for. Tip number 8. So, what I do with my time now, I'm on Instagram, College Bound Journey. I'm on Facebook, college.bound.journey.2023. And what I do is I focus on the DMV area. I know this area. I know a lot of the scholarships that come through this area because my kids want it. So, I know this area. And so, I spend a lot of my time posting scholarships. I post the scholarships for the DMV area. However, I do work with clients outside of the DMV area, and I take what I learn here and I apply it to wherever they live. It could be Florida, Georgia. I have a client in California. I had my first international client not too long ago, North Carolina, Connecticut, and I believe New Jersey. But the majority of the clients are in the DMV area, also Richmond, Norfolk, Virginia, and Virginia Beach. If you follow me on Instagram, College Bound Journey, and Facebook, you will see that I post a lot of scholarships. But it's not just the posting of the scholarships that's important, but it's for you to understand what they're looking for in order to win. I don't post a lot of the national scholarships because they're very competitive. And you'll see, for example, if Coca-Cola, we're giving a $40,000 scholarship, but they're only giving it to like one or two people. So I didn't have the perfect kids, so I knew that we would not win those. So we focus on let's see what the college is going to give you, and let's focus on these private and local scholarships. And that's what we did. So my email address is here in case you need to email me, and I can also put it in the chat later. But there are some people that I think you should follow on Instagram that do focus on a lot of national scholarships. HBCU Money Guide, Zollege, XOLLEGE, Pass, Scholarship College Mama, Scholarship.junkie. They're on Instagram. They focus a lot on the national scholarships, but I focus on the DMV area. And tip number 9, a lesson learned. You can begin applying for scholarships in middle school. We did not know that. We waited until our 12th grade to start applying for scholarships. But there are scholarships for kids in middle school, ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and of course, your senior year. But what you need to do to prepare to apply for these scholarships, you need to create usernames and passwords on certain platforms. For instance, Scholarship America, Kaleidoscope, Bold, um, scholarship.com. There's another one, MD Caps. That's for the state of Maryland. MD Caps, you'll get a ID number, MHEC ID number to apply for scholarships within the state of Maryland. Thurgood Marshall College Fund, United Negro College Fund. But understand that although these two platforms, they are specifically for HBCUs, they are not they're not always for HBCUs. I do know of some students who have won scholarship money from these two platforms who they do not attend an HBCU, but you have to read the requirement. They attend a PWI, but it was a STEM scholarship, and the requirement did not say you had to attend a HBCU. So read the requirement. Young man won $5,000, I think, from the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. Read the requirement and understand what it is that they're asking for. Majority of the time is for if you attend a HBCU, but not all the time. So it's important that you look at these different options that I gave you, these different platforms, and go ahead and create usernames and passwords now, because it is scholarship season right now for the class of 2025 in DC, Maryland, and Virginia area. And some organizations will post their scholarships on these platforms. So definitely make sure that you create them now so you don't have to wait until the scholarships come up for you to complete them. Now, this last section, scholarship displacement, you're going to have to do some research on that. And what that is, it is illegal in about 6 states, and Maryland is one of the states it's illegal in if you attend a public university. And what that means is if you receive outside external scholarship, you have to ask the university, do they allow scholarship stacking? Some of them do, some of them don't, but you have to ask the financial aid office what happens if you win an external scholarship. Does it go towards your balance, or does the merit scholarship from the university get reduced by what's coming in? So that's something that I just don't have enough time tonight to go over. But remember that word, scholarship displacement, because it definitely does can affect your bottom line. And when you have external scholarships coming in, you don't want them to take your money. You want that money to go towards your balance. So do your research on that. And then, if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to me. And last but not least, we're going to save some time for some questions or more instruction, is that this is my Amazon ebook QR code. Again, what I like about it is that I created a senior year timeline. Oh, sorry, that's my family. Let me go back. What I like about my Amazon ebook is that I created a timeline for your senior year. This senior year timeline begins in August. You should begin August before your senior year. You need to be ready to go. You need to be ready to go because what you're going to find is that some some college applications, there's early action versus early decision. So I never recommend early decision for anyone. I always recommend early action. Early decision means I'm going to come here. This is the only school I want to come to, regardless of what you give me. If you give me any money or not, I want to come here as a binding contract, and you don't want to ever be caught up in a binding contract. But early action means I want you to look at my application first. When the window opens up, I want you to make a decision about admitting me, and I want you to start beginning to think about if you want to offer me any money. That's usually between October. I usually see October 15th to about November 15th. Very few in December. So you want to be ready to go in October. So that means you need to have letters of recommendation, a copy of your official transcript, and you need to make sure you have some types of essays ready. So when they ask you, you can just recycle them, copy and paste, and your package will be complete. The other thing I want to bring your attention to is that there's a common Black common application, CBCA, versus a common application. So the common Black common application is a way for you to pay $20 to apply to over 60 HBCUs at one time. So what you do is you have your counselor upload this transcript. That's all they have to do. It usually opens August before your senior year, and you need to be ready to go ahead and complete that common Black common application. It's very easy to do. It saves you a lot of money because those application fees are a lot. So if you go ahead and do that in August, you already start having eyes on you. It opened up the doors for us because we were contacted by schools that we probably wouldn't have looked at before if they hadn't reached out. Um, my kids won scholarships just from filling out this Common Black Common app. And then you select your top four first, and then you send them an email and say, hey, I applied, please download my application. And when they have confirmed that they did, then you put in another four top choice. Same thing, and another four until you put in all the schools you're interested in. And so the Common App is different because it has some of the HBCUs and some of your PWIs, predominantly white institutions, on that side. It's similar in that it's one application. It'll go to all the different schools. Some of them may ask for additional information, but it's one application. However, you have to pay separate application fees. And those application fees can range from $40, $50, $75, and I've even seen some at $100. So make sure you create accounts for the Common Black Common app and the Common app. They usually open around late July, August, and it's a good way for you to save time and money. Again, senior year is going to be very, very busy. And my advice is always see what the colleges will award you. And then from there, you can then focus more on the private and local scholarships. In our area, December is when I usually see a couple of private and local scholarships open, but the majority of them are going to be between January and March. So as I was saying earlier, it is scholarship season now. So if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, you will see that I will post weekly, sometimes daily, depending on how they're coming in. And those are really good ways to try to win money because it could be $1,000 here, $1,000 there, but that can add up. And it's $1,000, some organizations, and they're giving it to 20 people, sometimes 30 people. So you see how your chances are higher when you apply to private and local scholarships rather than the national ones, because you have a greater chance of winning. Don't discriminate because I laugh because my boys have won $250, 500, 1,000. I think the largest amount has been my youngest won a $5,000 one. I think they both did maybe, and a $3,000. But just let you know how they add up. My oldest won $35,000 in private and local scholarships, and my youngest won $25,000 in private and local scholarships. My youngest, we didn't have to apply to as many because he decided to attend Norfolk State University, and they basically offered him a full ride. So we didn't have to do that. But this is my family's journey. This is what I enjoy doing and helping you. I do speak to small groups, large groups. I do one-on-one private virtual sessions. But again, my goal is just to help more people, definitely who look like me, but more people in our area to understand that there is money out there and you can be successful as a Prince George's County public school student. We are so proud of my family. These are my boys. They're majoring, my youngest is majoring in computer science, cybersecurity. My oldest is majoring in exercise science and kinesiotherapy. He wants to be a physical therapist like mom. And this is my husband. So thank you from Team Johnson. And I will pause here and open it up for questions.
Wow. Thank you so much for this information. Like you definitely taught me a lot today about scholarships. So one of the first questions I have to ask you is pretty much about the timeline. I know you said that you're supposed to be starting like in middle school, but let's say we have a senior right now that's kind of running out of time. What do you suggest to that senior like right now that's kind of like that really doesn't know their direction, that really needs that extra step, and they're kind of just an average student who just wants to go the best place that they can. What are you telling those seniors?
Scholarship season. So it's not too late yet because a lot of the scholarships are due in March, some in April. So they still have time. But if they don't know what they want to do, I did not talk about this, especially if you live in this area. There's nothing wrong with the 2+2, going to community college first for 2 years and then follow that pipeline to go to a school in the state of Maryland. They have a program where they work with the kids to get into University of Maryland or go to Morgan State or go to Bowie State. There's nothing wrong with 2+2. If you're not quite sure what you want to do, but you still want to go, to college, nothing wrong with that. And if you live in District 8, I don't know if people know this because I live in District 8, that you can get your tuition paid for at the Prince George's Community College through the MGM local development, that
The
council.
fun, yeah,
So
yeah.
if you don't know what you want to do yet, and then there are still some colleges that will admit you on a rolling basis. Like you still have time. So it's still time. Just connect with me. Let's come up with a plan. Let's work on the future. And also, just say if you attend college this year, I encourage parents to help your kids make the best financial decision ever because I am getting frantic calls from people who decided to go to a college they just can't afford. And so now they're at the college and they may have to leave because they don't have the financial resources. So make that decision early on about finances. Talk to your kids about what you can and cannot afford. I always tell people, I with my boys when we talked about what's our budget, I was like, there is no budget. We need to win some money to go to college because it's two of you guys at the same time and they wanted to go out of state. So our rule was if you want to go out of state, you're going to have to work hard and you're going to have to win money to go out of state. And so they did, and now they're in Virginia.
Yeah. So
But
let
it's
so let me
not
ask
too
you
late.
this.
It's not
Oh,
too late.
yes, and I thank you. So let's talk a little bit about this bundle. I know you said $1 million in scholarships. So what exactly does that mean as far as like the bundle? Like, is it multiple scholarships to the same school, or how does that work? You know, I know you talked a little bit about the common and as far as the different types of scholarships. So let's say you are a junior and you got accepted to maybe two schools, but that isn't a school you really want. And I know the thing about what you just said earlier about not affording that college that you really want to go to. I know some kids they want that college. That's like their only option, so they only apply to that option. So how does that bundle work? Will a lot of opportunities kind of um, you know ground out if you don't apply at a certain time towards that school that you really want to go to, or is that like something that you kind of in the back of your mind say, I'm going to use this towards this school, and but I can, but I, but let okay. So this the easy way to say it is, does does that bundle um go to a certain college, or does it go to multiple colleges that you want to go to? You broke up a little bit.
Are you talking about the Common Black College app?
Yeah. So like, okay. So
You can
um,
apply to over 60 schools for $20.
yeah, and so let me so let's say, so you said your children, both of your sons got almost $1 million in scholarships, right?
Oh yeah, that's from
So was that
separate.
$1 million in scholarships to one school, or was that they had the choice to go to multiple schools with different
Pages.
percentages? Yeah.
Mhm. Yes. So for instance, my youngest won like 4 or 5 full rides to universities.
Hmm.
So if you calculate how much it costs to go to those universities, that's how it added up to $1 million, including what he got in private and local scholarships. And
Okay.
so my oldest one, he got about two maybe two full rides, and then one like 75% and a couple of 50%. So that's how it added up to $1 million. Now the other little, money here, money there from, other schools, I'm calculating the bulk of what they received. So it may have been, that's why I said over 1 million. It may have been more than that, but I was just focusing on the ones where they got the full rides, the tuitions only, tuition and books and fees, things like that. So that's how it added up to over $1 million.
Right. And do you recommend children to apply to um as many colleges as they want to get into, or do you narrow that down to their top five or six?
So in my timeline, I'd say you start off with about 10 or 15 schools, and then you work on decreasing that. You got to get down to five, and then you got to get down to that one. So what you have to consider, those application fees add up. So you don't want to just keep applying to all these different schools, because who's going to pay for it?
Hmm.
But if you do the $20 for the HBCUs, you might get recognized, or someone may see your package and be like, this would be a good student to come to our university. Because some of the schools that contacted us, I mean, I hate to say it, some of them we had never heard of, but guess what? Because we filled out that Common Black College app for $20, it opened the doors for more opportunities.
And the best time to apply for that Common Black College scholarship, you said, is around
Start in
August.
August. Start in
August.
August. It's an application, and all the counselor has to do is upload your transcript from your junior year. That's all they have to do. The rest, the scholar, and the parent can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess my final question is, I know you do private, consulting for a lot of the kids, but look, we can't really not talk about trade schools. Do you kind of help with those options as well?
Yes, I do. Like I said, I help to create a competitive advantage for the scholar, wherever they may be. If you want to go to trade school, there are scholarships for trade school. So if
Mhm.
I work with you, I help you research and find them. The other day I saw one, for someone who maybe wants to do hair. If you want to become a plumber, or, different things. There's money out there for different things, because some of the private and local scholarships will say this scholarship is for if you want to attend a 2-year university, a 4-year university, or a trade school. So you have to, read the requirements of the scholarship, but there are some out there, and I will help you, create a competitive advantage to win.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
See,
We appreciate.
I thought I saw a question in the chat. Do you see my
Oh,
name?
let me see. Is there a question in the chat? Did you have a question? Oh, well,
Oh, yeah.
Miss
It says,
Taylor,
let's
you have
see.
a question? I know she. Yeah, go ahead, Miss Taylor.
I'm a technological dummy. Um, I, I was wondering if you go to school around in Prince George's County, you can go to high school and college at the same time.
Mhm.
So if you're going to apply for that money, when do you start? I mean, do you start when you start that program? Do you start looking for schools already, or how do you tell them I only need 2 years worth of money?
Okay, so
I'm trying to.
yeah, my youngest did the dual enrollment program,
Oh
but
yeah,
then
okay,
but then they also have where you can go the Academy of Health Sciences and you end up with an associate degree.
right.
So first up, when you apply to the colleges, you are still a high school senior. So that's just that. And then on the application, they would ask if you've taken any, college classes, or you have your associate's degree, et cetera, et cetera. But for the purpose of scholarships on the private and local side, you are still a high school senior. So you can apply, but then they will see that you only need 2 years on the college side of money.
I see. I see. Okay.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
yeah, no problem. And I saw your other question about considering the current political atmosphere. Are there new obstacles? Of
Like
course,
with the Department of Education being
yes.
disbanded, where, is there new directions that need to be taken?
Well, a lot of that, so things are changing every day. So they came for the Department of Education, and now they released a statement that students can still get their Pell Grants and they can still get student loans. So it's changing all the time. But as of right now, it does not affect the student. Now, moving forward, the reason why I'm so passionate right now, because you're not sure if colleges are going to have the same amount of money that they
Right.
had from years before. Um, and then also for the HBCU side, you don't know if they're going to continue to get their funding. So that's why it's now even more important to
Hmm.
work with your kids to get them ready to attract the scholarships. But I don't think it's going to change the private and local money because that's private. That has nothing to do with the federal government. These are what businesses are giving. This is what churches are giving. This is what sororities and fraternities are giving. So I don't think that's going to change. But I do think the amount of aid that colleges will be able to give out may change depending on where they get their funding. I
Right.
know for the state of Maryland, the HBCUs came together a few years ago and had to sue to get money that was due them years
Hmm.
ago. They sued Governor Hogan to get
Hmm.
money, and so now they do have a little surplus. So I always tell people, don't look down at our schools in the state of Maryland because they have some money.
They
So
do.
the
Hey,
You're right.
HBCUs, so we need to consider University of Maryland Eastern Shore, Coppin State, Bowie State,
mhm,
Morgan State. We need to make sure that we consider them first before you go out of state because out of state wants to make money off of you. So that's why I say have the discussion with the children, make good decisions so you don't go into debt because the kids don't understand what student loans are. They don't
right.
understand that crises that we're in right now. So go, in my timeline, I'll tell you to create, you can create your number one school up here, but also have some schools down here that you will consider going to if you don't get the money to go to your number one.
That's a
Right.
good
Right.
question.
Thank
That's a really good question.
Yeah,
And another thing is, I guess, I love that idea of the $20 for that, because that's a really
it's
good
smart.
tool.
It's smart. I'm telling you.
Yeah, and I really wish more students take advantage of that opportunity, and I really hope that our high schools are kind of encouraging that to everybody because that's a really good deal. It's like a bundle package, and I really
The
hope,
bundle package. It was
yeah,
created. Yep, it was created by a black man. I think his name is it Rick Mason? Don't quote me on his name. I can't think of it right now. But anyway, he came up with that app. He created it just for us. And so it's a wonderful tool. We got to use it. It really does save you a lot of money.
thank you. So I appreciate your time today. Thank you so
Yes.
much. Of
Thank
course,
you.
this is on YouTube, so I did post it in the group, the YouTube link. So if you guys missed it, you can watch it. please share this link because this is very important information. I think all of our kids should be utilizing these amazing resources that she provided. And of course, Dr. Johnson, I appreciate you taking your time out today to talk to Education Roundtable, about your success and of course your accomplishments, because not many parents, are really, advocating for this type of resources. And a lot of parents are in need of these resources that really just don't have the time. Life be life, and I think parents always need help. And I think it's amazing parents like you that are offering these parents the help that they need. So I really hope kids take advantage of these resources and really reach out. So once again, tell everybody your website and where they can find you and all that good stuff.
So my website is www.collegeboundjourney.net. You can follow me on Instagram, College Bound Journey, or Facebook, college.bond.journey.2023. Follow me. DMV is my area. I post all the scholarships and it's there for you to take advantage of.
Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
great
you.
evening,
You
everybody.
too.
Thanks for joining us. Tune in next time for the Education Roundtable. Anthony Tillman here.